Hello, and welcome to this first public involvement meeting for the US 18-151 Corridor Study. The primary purpose of this meeting is to introduce the study, provide an update on the study progress, and discuss the next steps moving forward. Please consider providing feedback using the online comment form located on the public involvement page of the study website or by the other methods outlined at the end of this presentation. This presentation will begin by providing a general overview of the US 18-151 corridor and the study background. We will then discuss the purpose of the study and the transportation needs identified so far. Finally, we'll discuss the study schedule and the next steps moving forward. Here is an overview map showing the limits of the study. The study starts at the US 18 and US 151 interchange east of the city of Dodgeville in Iowa County and extends approximately 35 miles east to County PD or McKee Road in the city of Fitchburg in Dane County. The speed limit is primarily 65 miles per hour on the corridor, with the exception of a short 55 mile per hour section on the far east end. Within the study area, US 18-151 is an important roadway for moving people and freight and connects communities in southwestern Wisconsin to the Madison area. It is primarily a four-lane divided highway that is designated a National Highway System route, an expressway for the majority of the corridor, a Wisconsin DOT long truck route, and an oversized overweight truck route. There are currently 12 interchanges and 20 at-grade intersections on the corridor, as well as 49 private access points, including driveways and field entrances. In 2014, the Wisconsin Department of Transportation completed a previous study on the section of the corridor from the US 18-151 interchange near Dodgeville to the West Verona Avenue interchange in Verona. The proposed improvement from that study was to convert the corridor to a freeway by adding interchanges, grade-separated crossings, and new or altered local road connections. The Ridgeview Road interchange just west of the village of Ridgeway was constructed from the alternative developed from that study. Then, in 2017, the Wisconsin DOT began a reevaluation of that study to potentially move forward with additional spot improvements along the corridor. However, the reevaluation process was paused when the Wisconsin DOT reassessed planning priorities statewide, and it was never completed. In December 2023, the Wisconsin DOT was authorized to begin the current US 18-151 study. The work completed during the previous study will be used to the extent practicable. However, much of the data and feedback used to make the decisions at that time is now over 10 years old and needs to be updated. In addition, there have been several changes on the corridor related to the development or planned development that needs to be accounted for as well. Every study develops a purpose statement to summarize the primary objective of the study and the needs it will address. The draft purpose of the US 18-151 corridor study is to address safety, current and future traffic demand, and infrastructure deficiencies throughout the corridor while striving to maintain local connectivity. The corridor needs identified to this point include safety conditions. There are several areas on the corridor with safety concerns, especially at horizontal curves and at-grade intersections. One of the things that will be evaluated is converting the corridor to a freeway by removing the at-grade intersections as well as private access points such as driveways and field entrances from US 18-151. This would be done by adding a combination of new interchanges, overpasses or underpasses, and new local road connections. Traffic demand. This relates to making sure there is enough capacity on a roadway or at an interchange or intersection to handle the existing and projected future traffic volumes on the corridor during peak travel times. Infrastructure deficiencies. There are areas along the corridor that do not meet current design standards. This can lead to safety concerns. The pavement along the corridor will reach the end of its service life by the study design year, which is 2050. The study design year is the future year for which the road is being designed to accommodate projected traffic volumes and conditions. The design year is typically 20 years after the project is open to traffic. Maintaining local connectivity. The study team will attempt to minimize indirection created by alternatives that would remove or modify side road or driveway connections from US 18-151. Each of these needs will be discussed in more detail on the following slides, starting with safety. Over the 5-year safety analysis period from 2020 to 2024, there were 1,021 crashes on the corridor, which averages out to almost 4 crashes per week. Over 200 of these crashes involved an injury, and there were 5 fatalities. There have been 3 additional fatalities in 2025. The highest percentage of the crashes on the corridor were single vehicle crashes, followed by rear end and ankle crashes. The map on this slide shows how the crash rates on the corridor compare to the statewide average for similar roadways. In total, 49% of the corridor is above the statewide average for total crashes. Over the 5-year safety analysis period, 395 crashes occurred at intersections in the corridor. The map on this slide shows the intersections that are flagged for safety concerns due to the number and severity of those crashes at those locations. They include County YYZ, Pikes Peak Road, West Brigham Road, County K, and the westbound ramp intersection at Old PB. The map on this slide shows the existing traffic volumes on the corridor and the projected growth anticipated to occur by 2050. Traffic demand is greater along the east end of the corridor near Verona and Fitchburg, where current traffic volumes range from approximately 30,000 to 45,000 vehicles per day. By 2050, those numbers are anticipated to grow by as much as 45%. This is due in part to projected development in the area. Traffic volumes on the western end of the corridor are projected to remain at current levels by 2050. Based on Wisconsin DOT roadway standards, there are several design features on the US 18-151 corridor that are considered deficient. These include horizontal curves at 37 locations, intersection sight distance at 13 locations, the deceleration length for turn lanes at 30 intersections, and the ramp acceleration and deceleration lengths at 6 interchanges. These deficiencies do correspond to safety concerns in several of these areas. In addition, the original roadway was constructed in the 1980s and 1990s. While the pavement on the corridor is currently in relatively good condition, there will be pavement needs in the coming years. Finally, maintaining local connectivity between the communities along the corridor will be evaluated. Factors such as emergency service access, public facility access, business access, and travel times will be considered as alternatives are being developed. Efforts will be made to minimize indirection caused by alternatives that would remove or modify access to US 18-151. An overview of the study schedule is shown on this slide. Right now, the study team has started data collection on the corridor and the initial development of the study purpose and identification of corridor needs. The study team will then begin developing and evaluating potential alternative concepts that could address those corridor needs. The concepts that show the most promise for addressing the corridor needs and receive the most positive feedback from stakeholders will then be carried forward for more detailed alternative design. Once the detailed alternatives are developed, they will be presented for public feedback. That feedback will help determine a preferred alternative for the corridor, which is the alternative that Wisconsin DOT would propose to move forward with and eventually construct. The study is anticipated to be completed in 2028. Public involvement activities and engagement will occur throughout the study. This will include additional public involvement meetings as well as a public hearing. Once the study is completed, the project would then be eligible to be approved for final design and construction. If that occurs, the earliest construction of a preferred alternative would occur is the early 2030s. This slide identifies recent and planned transportation projects on the study corridor. These projects are separate from the US 18-151 study and address immediate safety and operational needs at several locations. The County G to Wisconsin 69 project, shown by the light orange on the right side of the map, will add auxiliary lanes in that area and widen the bridge at County G. It will also signalize the ramp terminal intersections and add left turn lanes. Construction is currently ongoing and will be completed later this year. There are also two intersection projects planned, one at County F in Dane County and one at County YYZ in Iowa County, that would convert the existing intersection to a restricted crossing U-turn or R-cut. With the R-cut, vehicles on the side road will no longer be able to make a direct left turn at the intersection. Instead, they would need to make a right turn, followed by a U-turn at a median opening further up the road. While this requires some indirection to make a left turn, R-cuts have been shown to reduce fatal and injury crashes by 50 to 70%. Construction at County F is anticipated in 2026. Construction for the YYZ project is anticipated for 2027. Safety concerns at the County K intersection in Barneveld have led to recent access changes at this intersection. The median and north leg of the intersection have been closed. The south leg of the intersection is open for right-in, right-out movements only. These changes at County K were made at the request of and in close coordination with local municipalities in the area. The Wisconsin DOT also has a project that will add a high-friction surface treatment to several bridges and curves along the US 18 151 corridor, shown in dark orange of the left side of the map, to help reduce the number of run-off-the-road crashes. Construction for this project is anticipated to be completed later this year. Wisconsin DOT contacts for these projects can be found on the meeting exhibits. We would like to hear from you. Please consider providing feedback regarding the US 18 151 corridor, the proposed study purpose, and the corridor needs identified in this presentation. Let us know if there are any additional corridor needs or areas of concern that were not mentioned. The feedback received will be used to help finalize the study purpose and need and identify what types of improvements should be considered. The next public involvement meeting is anticipated to be held in the summer of 2026. At that time, the refined study purpose and corridor needs will be presented, as well as the initial concepts developed to address those needs. You may provide feedback at any time by visiting the study website. Simply click the Comment Now button to submit a comment or question. You may also reach out directly to Project Manager Jeff Behrens at jeff.behrens@dot.wi.gov or by calling 608-245-2656. You may also submit a written comment at the in-person public meeting or by mailing it in the provided prepaid envelopes to Jeff Behrens at 2101 Wright Street, Madison, Wisconsin 53704. We ask that all comments related to this meeting be submitted by November 10th, 2025. Thank you for participating in the US 18 151 Corridor Study.